You know, when you run into corruption and you run into these people that are performing crimes over you, and for my case, I've been being poisoned. And so when I was looking for answers for such a long time, these people in my life weren't allowing me to get the answers, and not only that, they were stonewalling anyone that would actually be of a supportive type, to suggest that they would be enabling me, or, you know, suggesting don't validate his concerns, things like that, where it's like, this is it's a thick crime, regardless if anyone in the system wants to partake with the crimes over my life, or just make me out to be the criminal, because that's what they've been getting away with, you see. And so it's to create like a plethora of things that are happening to you, to make you just make it easier for them all the way through to continue that same plethora of crimes over you. So when you're unable to escape those type of things, and these people just want to continuously work in that line of defense to defend these criminals, you know, they're defending like my dad getting away with rape for 50 years now. It's like, you know, if that's the case, and that's all the system wants to protect, you're not only running into corruption, you're running into a straight up war over your life, because it's not only a spiritual warfare and an emotional warfare and family warfare, but it's actually a physical war, because to poison someone up in that kind of fashion is a very physical thing. And so from birth, I've been dealing with a warfare I just thought was a covert warfare. When I, you know, got older enough to realize that something's happening to me that I need help discovering, and I'd be going to the same men inside of my life that would be preparing that war, making that warfare. You see, and unable to see that because that's what arsenic did to me. So my calling back autonomy for many, many, many months, mind you, and then it turning into like a year, over a year now, and they still can't just leave me be. They have to continuously smear campaign against me, continuously slander me, harass me. It's attempted murder. And it's many attempts at murder that you just can't even see for what it is, nor do you want to. Like, you wouldn't want to see it coming from anybody, but you definitely don't want to see that coming from people that are close to you. So I don't know if people can relate to what I'm saying here, but I'm just trying to make a short little clip here about it, because if these people get away with this crime, it's much like I've never been able to live even a day of my life. So I'm looking for help out here. I'm looking for people that actually care about these criminal intents of these people to, like, get away with these crimes. And otherwise, it's like there's just nowhere to go. And then when you're discovering these crimes, you're not being allowed to work. They're not trying to let you work. They're not trying to let you grow. Just like pretend as if you're 5 years old or 7 years old or whatever, and they don't want you to even develop to who you would otherwise be. They're just completely arresting you in your development, leaving you in a state of that warfare, and they're not letting you go. And that's just what's happening all over my life, all over the board. No matter where I work, no matter what relationship I have, no matter who's there to suggest that these things are happening to me and want to be there to support me. Well, if they support you, silent supporters or whatever, there's not many that are actually willing to take on that heat. So they might support you in the quiet, silently. They're not like loud about it, and they don't want to be loud about it. because they know then themselves that they will then as well be poisoned, or they will then as well be targeted, or whatever. Because that's how these people move in complicity to craft up the crimes against targets, and then when anyone's around to try and help you, they're doing anything in their power to prevent that person from being there for you. So it's a really sick crime. A very, very sick crime. And I'm just hoping to gain people's support out here, because much like figuring these things out, it's been stopping me from working. And then after stopping me from working, it's stopping me from being able to home in on my own abilities in life, my mind. And then right after that, it seems to me that the corruption goes as far deep as your medical providers, the system, the counties, just clerks of the warfare against targets to silence the oppressed, and to let the oppressors and the abusers get away with their crimes. So when you're like stingrayed, for an example, or something like that, you're being hacked and hijacked, your life is being just completely dismantled, where do we have to go? Because if we don't have anywhere to go and anyone to speak to on these levels of like what's actually happening, well then it bleeds into community efforts. It bleeds into unknown names and unknown faces that can come up inside of people's lives to as well target the individual. And when you're hacked in that kind of fashion, and it's to stage you exactly how it's supposed to stage you, is that they're not even trying to let you get into the courts on your online ability, meaning they're trying to hack you so that it's to look like you didn't show up, so that because you didn't show up, well, now there's going to be a warrant out for your arrest, and then they can come corral you. And that's always what it is. It's to corral you, get you moving in the ultra worldliest ways, in their ultra egos, to take over people's lives, and we want to control people's lives and all this and that. Well, as soon as you leave, you'll be getting that's when the calls start. That's when the spam starts. That's when all the extraditional movements are made as far as your ability to just be left alone. And then on top of it, like in that court hearing, like I had like literally a minute left to like get in after like securing my IP and my Wi-Fi connection and all that jazz. Well, they definitely didn't want me to secure anything, because not only do they not want me to have representation for people to see these crimes happening to me, but they're not even trying to allow me to get heard on any board. It doesn't matter if it's like me speaking to them directly or me speaking out online. It's legitimately to stop me in that grind of anything I do. Not just speaking out, but working a McDonald's job, or working a paper mill, or working a manufacturing job, or just anything. It's to get somebody involved, proxy, a fake tie, for their crimes, to just continue to derail you from being able to even work a regular life for yourself. And you just don't see these things coming from family and friends. You don't want to. And so it's really harsh that these people work in this fashion, but that's exactly the fashion that they're working in. It's not that they're trying to help you get out of the crime, or the police aren't trying to discover a crime over you. No, they're just trying to indemnify crimes, just the same way that these brothers of mine have, the same way that my dad has, the same way that other people involved have. And so harassing you just makes sense. To try and break your spirit, break you down in the worst of ways, and just continuously work on you in those fashions to where they're just not trying to allow you to a life at all outside of the abuse, outside of the crimes that are happening to you. So anyway, if that's just the kind of complicity that these people are working in to indemnify their crimes and get away with their crimes, they literally do. People end up dying in my situation. So that's why I'm out here asking for people's support, their love and support, their help. I have campaigns on Facebook. I'm Cobra Murden now, the 4th account on Facebook, because of being hacked all the time. They're just not trying to allow me to an outreach. Otherwise, I'd probably have 4,000, followers, 4,000 friends, whatever. And now I'm back to square one, 180 or something like that. It really limits your outreach of support, and that's exactly what their go-to plan is, because they're just a bunch of cowards. So anyway, thanks for being here, and I really appreciate your support and love. I'm not getting much out here, as you could imagine, but if you do support me and love me as far as that's concerned, can you please do anything will help. I otherwise would be probably well over 100 grand, if not a millionaire right now, with my actual workmanship, and these people are just not trying to allow me to work at all. So I really appreciate you being here, and thanks for supporting me. Goodbye for now.